It's Thursday, May 23rd, and I'm your host, Paula Hersey. On Barnstable Today, we learn more about electricity safety training, check our yards for standing water and mosquitoes, make a note to book our tea time, and make plans to support the local creative economy this holiday weekend. Now for a look at municipal and legislative news. Today, May 23rd at 4 p.m., Cape Cod Community College will celebrate its 57th commencement ceremony at the Cape Cod Melody Tent in Hyannis. In total, the college will award degrees and certificates to 568 graduating students. Dr. John Sylvanus Wilson, Jr., Senior Advisor in Strategy to the President at Harvard University, former President of Morehouse College, and former head of President Barack Obama's Initiative on Historically Black Colleges and Universities, will deliver the 2019 commencement address. Congratulations, graduates! From responding during storms to managing tree removal, our local Department of Public Works employees often work in proximity to high-voltage electric equipment. Town DPW Safety Officer Megan Savage joins us in studio to talk about the recent Eversource training for DPW departments across the region. Electrical safety. May is Electrical Safety Month, but we practice safety around electrical wires all year round. With me today, the Safety Officer for the Department of Public Works, Megan Savage. Megan, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Your department, last time you joined us, we were rolling out the safety program. Tell us where you are now and what's been updated since you first started the program.
We've done a ton of training from load securement. Everybody within our department, just about everybody, has gone through chainsaw training, including storm damage. We've done so much. Yeah, we're working on policies and health and safety plans and standard operating procedures for all the tasks that are being done. And we just held high voltage safety awareness with Eversource.
So that's kind of what prompted me. You know, we did a interview with Deputy Chief Melanson in Hyannis Fire Department about the dangers of electricity in the home. And now I'm thinking, well, what about out on the job? So you folks deal with some high wire stuff on almost a daily basis, it seems.
So we're supposed to stay away from it, but
right.
Yes, we can be exposed to it. And then this was one of those trainings that actually our folks had requested. So it was interesting, and it talked a lot about step potential, about how close you could actually get to down wires, and if there was a transformer, say, that had fallen on a vehicle in a car accident or what have you, you want to stay a whole nother pole length away. So don't approach from another telephone pole, because if you get too close within that step potential and you kind of get into where the electricity is hitting the ground, you could become part of that circuit. So they touched a lot about that. We deal with bucket trucks, vac trucks. We have a lot of equipment, backhoes and excavators and whatever, that raises very high. We have, so this really kind of focused on making sure that you're in a safe area. You're staying at least 10 feet away from the electrical wires above you. Obviously dig safe, they touched upon. But really just kind of how to keep ourselves safe. And it focused a lot too on storm response, because although we're not first responders technically, we are some of the first responders.
Right.
Snowstorms, hurricanes, we're the folks that will be there to clear the trees. And so this was really to keep the folks safe that are going to go to trees that are down with wires in them and stuff like that.
So when you get a training like this, and you've got a room full of folks that have been operating their equipment for years, you said that they requested this. Was this something that they had noticed in their own work that they thought that they needed the training on?
Sometimes it is. Sometimes they'll say, new employees that come in that maybe don't have the same training that everybody has, but it's also just a good refresher for everybody. Right. That has been operating equipment for 20 years. And I had actually opened up this training to other towns, and we had a lot of folks from other Cape towns that had attended that have been in this field for years and years, and they all seemed to get a lot out of it. There was a lot of questions at the end. It was excellent.
Right. And when you talk about those bucket trucks and things like that, I mean, even just everyday tree limbing and things like that, you're around wires. When you first started to talk about this, I'm like, oh yeah, you're around wires almost all the time.
Yeah, with the cleaning catch basins, that back truck has a large boom. Our tree crew uses bucket truck daily. We have an electrician that's using the bucket truck daily, whether he's fixing the street lights or what have you. So, and plus just the heavy equipment, depending on what job site they're on. We have equipment that raises very high constantly.
Right. And overhead wires, they can be obviously, either live mostly, right? But you talked about a car accident. I hadn't thought about that either, that you would be that responder that would have to come down and actually maybe pull some trees off?
So we wouldn't touch anything. If there were wires, the DPW doesn't touch anything until Eversource says that it is safe to do so. We would call them, or National Grid, or whomever it may be, and let them know that there was an incident with the down wires. And we don't touch anything until they shut down power and it is safe to do so. Even during snowstorms and things, if we see down wires, we let them know. And sometimes they'll ask if they can't get somebody there for us to park a truck so that nobody comes into contact, so we can keep folks that are walking their dogs from walking through there, because that does happen, unfortunately. But yeah, we won't touch anything that has wires. We don't have the right equipment, the right safety equipment to do so, or the right training, honestly.
Right. And that's something that you would recommend for any department out there that's dealing with backhoes and some of that heavy equipment that rises up and down a significant level, is to get this training.
Right. And something too, just a side note, if you were in an accident and there are wires on your car that are live, don't get out.
Deputy
Stay in.
Chief Melanson said the exact same thing, is stay in that car because you're grounded.
Yes, if it was on fire, you absolutely had to get out.
Right.
You want to jump out with feet together. Don't have one foot on the car and one foot on the ground, because that will end very badly. You could become part of that circuit. It'll go right through you. But if you keep both your legs together and either shuffle away or just bunny hop away, you have a better chance of survival.
Right. But if it's not on fire, just stay put.
Just stay put.
All right. What are the next steps for the safety officer? As now it's almost been a year that you guys have kind of had some training and starting to make some differences in your daily workflow. We talked about hard hats out there doing things on the road. Are there more things that are coming down for people to learn?
Well, it's constant. It's constant learning, constant change, constant improvement. We've done leaps and bounds with our safety data sheets and chemical inventory. There's something every day. We did a ladder safety trainings and ladder inspections. That's something that's becoming, I'm going to be enforcing a lot more. So every day is something fun and exciting.
It is, and you know what? It makes us feel good as employees that you're out there and you're looking at some of these potential things that we don't notice in our everyday work life. We're just, oblivious to it sometimes.
We call it wallpaper. It becomes the wallpaper.
Right.
So even some of, safety signs and things like that, we joke it just becomes the wallpaper. If it doesn't stand out and you don't change it, they don't notice it anymore. Wear your safety glasses when you enter this space. Well, they don't notice that after a while, so you have to try to keep changing and making things fresh.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us again. We'll see you in the next quarter.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
'Tis the season for earwigs and mosquitoes. Our favorite entomologist duo is back with another creepy crawly episode of Bug Buzz.
Hi, I'm Larry Dapsis. I'm the entomologist with Cape Cod Cooperative Extension, and I'm here with my high-flying bug buddy,
Gabrielle Sokolsky. I'm the entomologist with Cape Cod Mosquito Control.
So welcome to Bug Buzz, and in this show, Gabby and I each bring an insect into your room, basically. You may have seen them, know something about them, but we're going to fill you in on a lot of other interesting details to kind of round out how these things make their living. So today, Gabby, what do you bring into the party?
I'm going to talk about mosquitoes. Not a surprise this
Not
time of year.
a shock, and
No.
something locally important as well as globally.
It is, and something that you don't want in your room, right? So here on Cape Cod, we've got about 25 different species of mosquitoes. I know everybody sees them, swats them, doesn't really look at them. They just want to get rid of them. And that's a good thing too, because mosquitoes are not only annoying, but they also carry diseases.
Sure.
And one of the things I feel like I need to mention at this time is that West Nile virus is definitely in all the towns on Cape Cod. And as we go into summer, one of the things to consider is that mosquitoes biting you might not just be annoying, but might be carrying disease as well. Last year on Cape Cod, we had few people who got West Nile virus who had symptoms that were severe enough for them to seek medical assistance. So something to keep in mind, not just ruining your barbecue, but also maybe causing you illness as well.
But we also have a threat of triple E.
We do, more off Cape than on Cape. This season is definitely ramping up to be a busy season for mosquito control. We had a lot of water, a lot of rain, even in the fall. The swamps were all wet, and coming through the winter, it was a mild winter. Everything stayed wet, everything stayed mild. The mosquitoes are moving along quickly, and my crews are out right now sampling for mosquitoes, and they're finding them everywhere they go.
So you're finding larvae out there in the
Larvae
pools.
and pupa. So a couple sunny days, and it looks like today might finally be sunny, they're going to be flying soon. So one of the things that I'd like to remind people this time of year is that you can do something to control mosquitoes on your own property. Mosquitoes lay their eggs in standing water or around standing water. The larvae hatch from those eggs, and they live in the standing water. The pupa that develop from those larvae also in standing water. You can see my theme here, standing water. What you don't want in your yard is standing water. In the gutters, on the tarp that's over something in your yard, in any buckets outside, any standing water is mosquito habitat.
So it's even a small amount of water can generate.
Even a small amount, like a little jar.
Okay, so like you have here.
Can fill up with mosquitoes rather quickly.
That's a mosquito factory I'm looking at right
That's
there.
a mosquito factory, and those were collected last week, so in May on Cape Cod.
Okay, so if you're managing your standing water, there's really no need to spray for them.
No, you should be able to control mosquitoes in your yard, and the mosquitoes that come out at dusk and at nighttime are freshwater mosquitoes. Those are mosquitoes that don't fly very far. They're coming from your yard, or as everybody who calls me tells me, their neighbor's yard. Mosquitoes that bite you during the day are coming from salt marshes. They'll fly for up to 5 miles, and they're aggressive biters, middle of the day biting you. What you can do if you have mosquitoes like that is give Cape Cod Mosquito Control a call. We're paid for in your taxes. We're a quasi-state organization. You pay for our services. If you have a mosquito problem, my crews will be sent out to take a look and find out where those mosquitoes are coming from.
And if you were going to treat bodies of water, what are the types of chemicals that you guys are using?
For the most part, we're using a bacteria, Bacillus thuringiensis israelensis,
So you're
BTI.
Biological.
Biological all the way. This is Cape Cod.
All right, very good.
Thanks.
So, all right, the transition from mosquitoes now to things that are kind of on the ground and in the soil. What I'm going to talk about today are earwigs, okay? And earwigs, as we've talked about, they look rather menacing. You see, that long body, those pincers that look like they can really do some serious stuff. These guys, they do have wings, but they rarely fly. And if they do take flight, they're actually kind of clumsy flyers, so they're better off being on the ground. Now, these guys have been with us since the Jurassic era. They've been on this planet for 200 million years, so they know their way around. One of the things, these things get into lore in terms of poetry and writings, and there's this old wives' tale about earwigs being able to get into your ear at night, lay eggs, and they'll eat your brains out and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff out there like that it's easily dispelled. I tell people here that are creeped out by earwigs, they're what, 3/4, 1 inch long, okay? And people kind of grimace at those things when they see that.
I do.
And in my job, I have found that I can tell people, look, it can always be worse. Let's say you lived in Taiwan, for example. Take a look at an earwig that's 6 inches long, okay? That might change your point of view. Now, how do these things make their living? They're omnivores. So they feed on living plant tissue, decaying plant tissue, animal matter, including they will prey upon insects. So what I like to do is share my first experience moving up here to Massachusetts 30 years ago. Ruth and I got a house and a beautiful garden. And so I went to the garden center, got some flats of seedlings, and I put them under a tree, and they were there for probably a week. And when I was getting ready to do my gardening, going out to look at my flats, this is what I saw. They were completely chewed up. Yeah, take a look at this picture here.
Earwigs.
They're amazing. So I didn't know quite what was going on till I lifted up the flat and saw earwigs, a bunch of earwigs underneath it. So lesson learned. I was putting my flats now on picnic table or get them up off the ground. But you see quite a bit of damage on other plants. So like this basil plant, they'll feed on flowers. They'll even feed on fruits like strawberries, but they might not eat the whole strawberry, but they're going to introduce decay organisms that's going to allow that thing to break down fairly quickly. If they are a reoccurring problem in your garden, you can always resort to a easy fix spinosad. So you go to a garden center and get Captain Jack's Dead Bug Brew. Pretty effective stuff, very safe. You just don't spray it on the flowers themselves. But those formidable looking pincers, yeah, they can actually use them. So if you put them in a situation where they're in a defensive mode, like we're showing here, it's got its abdomen curved up over the top of its body, pincers extended, and it's also spraying a very foul smelling liquid at the same time. And they can grab and pinch you. They're not going to cause a lot of damage, but as you see here, they can leave you a little bit of a welt and a memory. Now, what I find amazing about earwigs is that most adult female insects, they lay their eggs and basically move on. So it's kind of like your mosquitoes, they lay their eggs in a raft, and as kids, you're on your own, have a nice life. What earwigs do, they have this maternal behavior, which is very rare in a non-social insect, unlike, bumblebees and other things. So mom will lay her eggs, and she, as we see here, she stays with them to protect them from predators. And even when they hatch out into those little nymphs, and she stays with them still. And earwigs, they molt about 5 times from newly hatched to being an adult, and that mom will stay with those earwigs until they've molted twice. They're almost like a third the way grown. It's like, you're living with them until they're 12 years old, and then it's like, okay, move on, have a nice life. So that's it with this segment of Bug Buzz. Stay tuned for more interesting stuff in the future.
The weather is warmed up, the greens are cut, and it's time to start swinging those golf clubs. Bruce McIntyre, Director of Golf Operations for the town of Barnstable, joins us in studio for a golf update as we head into the holiday weekend. The weather has finally broken. It's sunny out, the grass is growing, and Director of Golf Operations, Bruce McIntyre, joins me in studio to tell you that it's time to play golf.
It absolutely is time to play golf. The rain has gone away, the sun is shining, and the courses are in terrific shape.
Memorial Day weekend, what can people expect out there on the courses?
Oh, they can expect nice, fast, true greens, very well manicured golf courses. The staffs have been busy. We're at that point in time coming into Memorial Day where it's full steam ahead. Maintenance programs are in full operation, staffed up for the season, and busy.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about the weekend and into Memorial Day. I'm pretty sure tee times are going to go quick.
Tee times are pretty well gone.
Yeah.
I think the best times have been booked up and snatched up months in advance. Right. I'd be looking at afternoons and twilight golf, maybe after 1 o'clock or so, and we may not. If this past weekend was any indication, there were no available tee times on Saturday and Sunday until after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And we're talking, Old Barnstable did this past weekend did 270 rounds on Saturday and 268 on Sunday, and that's pretty maxed out for an 18-hole golf course. So the courses are busy, and I expect this weekend to be no different.
Right. And what about the restaurant over at Old Barnstable? Ready?
Both restaurants are raring and ready to go. Old Barney, a Tavern on the Green, is they're there to handle people playing golf. Right now, our early tee times are 6 a.m. and the restaurant's open, and you know, I think the important thing to take away from the restaurant at both golf courses is not just the fact that you don't need to be a golfer to come.
Right.
The food is good, the view is great, and a nice relaxing atmosphere. You don't have to golf to come and have a good meal.
Right. Pro shops all stocked up?
Pro shops are fully stocked for the season. You probably get your best selection of what's out there right now. I looked at some of the merchandise that we put through the doors this weekend was pretty amazing. I was amazed at the amount of shirts that get sold this weekend. So good stuff. Get them while they're hot. Right size, right selection. The good stuff's in there right now.
How about those rule changes? There's a little bit of confusion out there.
There is, and that comes straight from the top of the PGA of America through the USGA all the way on down. There were so many rules and so many changes. There were bound to be some hiccups along the way, and that's going to continue. The idea of this all is to try to make the rules less difficult, speed up play, but at the same time, in competitive play, there's an awful lot of gray area. So the average golfer, it's probably to their benefit once they get used to it. But with any competitive event, I think you're going to have more rulings now than you've had in a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
And to wrap things up, Memorial Day weekend's always that, you know, kind of like push. We know July 4th is the real push, but Memorial Day, those golfers are back, the snowbirds are back.
Yeah.
You know, what do you want to give for advice before you get out there on your first game of golf?
For advice, well, if you're a snowbird, you've probably been playing all winter, which is a good thing. But if you haven't been out there and you haven't played, I mean, most avid golfers are going to start with 9 holes. They're going to hit the practice range. You know, there's a certain amount of flexibility and exercise that you need to do. Going out, if you haven't played all season and you're going to pick up the clubs this weekend and go out for the first time, people are going to be sore. Your muscles aren't stretched out. It takes some time to get into season form. Bottom line is get out, enjoy the golf courses, and enjoy what we have to offer.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
4. It's going to be a perfect weekend for a stroll down the walkway to the sea. Music starts on the harbor overlook this Friday, and the artist shanties are open. The sun might not be shining today, but
the sun always shines at the shanties.
the sun always shines at the Santies. With me today, Arts and Culture Coordinator Melissa Chartrand. This is the opening weekend.
It is here. It seems like it just ended and here we are again. It's always a wonderful sign of warmer days.
Right. And this year, we're connecting more dots.
We are connecting more dots, Paula. The goal of the Shanty program and Main Street and all of our arts-oriented efforts are to just create that synergy between Main Street and Hyannis Harbor. Steps away from a thriving Main Street, you have a beautiful working waterfront, and we are indeed connecting the dots. We've added 2 more artist shanties this year, so there are 7 down at Bismore Park. We had 3 at the Harbor Overlook last year for our inaugural season. That's a tough word to say. And now we've just added 2 more. The shanties here are named for town beaches.
Fantastic. And what I really, really love about this, number one, they're really colorful, so they're catching the eye of passersby.
Yes.
But 2, the art that's in there, the artists that are in there are so diverse.
There really is a wide variety of talent and artwork. Absolutely. You have everything from jewelry and fine arts and fiber arts and photography and ceramics, and the list just goes on. And with each one of those categories, a wide variety with that as well.
Right, and there's some culture in there as well. Folks probably don't always know about the history of Hyannis, but for the next 2 weekends, the Hyannis Historical Society is here in one of the shanties.
I am thrilled to have them. They had reached out to ask when we put the call to artists out, and absolutely it's arts and history and those types of organizations. We've had authors here for literary arts, and I am thrilled to celebrate the history of Hyannis, and again, connecting those dots. And it's all about those connections. It's connections physically between Main Street and the harbor front. It's connections between the artist community themselves, the artists to the visitors that come through, and to our history and heritage.
And let's connect one more dot because the performing arts are also here at the Shanties,
Yes.
Mondays and Fridays.
Mondays and Fridays, live lunch. You can come out. What a great way to start the week and end the week. We have local musicians, again, more creative economy that we are so happy to celebrate and engage with the community. So you can come out, listen to some local musicians play, grab a snack from the Snack Shack. We have a little sandwich shop from Main Street coming down to help fortify, and really what a wonderful way to learn about some of the other, the artist community.
And tell folks how they can learn more about the Shanty program, who's going to be here for the rest of the season, and everything else that's artful in Barnstable.
It's very easy, Paula. artsbarnstable.com has all the information with links to everything and anything you could want to know.
Excellent. Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
Up next, things to do, places to go, and people to meet. Join Barnstable Recreation and the Children's Cove staff to have a conversation about their programs and services. You can learn how parents can begin to have conversations about body safety, online safety, what signs and symptoms of abuse may look like, and how to get support. This free conversation will be Tuesday, May 28th, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Childcare and pizza will be provided. Please RSVP by May 24th to Mark Bordley, Youth Center Manager, by calling 508-790-6435, extension 116. Comments, suggestions, accolades? Connect with us on Facebook, email us, or send us an old-fashioned note by carrier pigeon. Channel 18 works. For you, I'm Paula Hersey, and thank you for watching Barnstable Today.